And here we go, as it says, David Eon and the lovely Miss Lady Prop Hunter here for another Saturday night discussion. But this time we have a special guest. Our special guest, obviously, is Pixel Dan, joining us from Illinois.
Hey guys.
And hey, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing
let
great.
people cascade in, and we will not be able to pay as much attention to the comment section as we do when it's just the two of us, but we will cascade through your comments because we don't want to ignore anybody, at least not on purpose, unless you're naughty, and then that's another problem. But anyway, yeah,
So
Pixel
don't be
Dan, as
naughty.
you all know. Don't make me put the crown on, ladies and gentlemen. But
oh yeah, the king of toys. I want to.
Hey,
there he is.
There it is. We're pixelized Daniel joining us this evening.
This is my favorite.
YouTube star, author, semi-professional wrestler, pixelized Daniel. Thank you. I thank you.
I just need you to. You got to start coming with me to all my conventions so that you can make that announcement every time I like walk into a panel room or something.
Hey, I'll help you out if you need it.
Yeah.
No, I kind of got stuck with this because I put it on once as a gag on the live stream, just for the hell of it. And then every live stream and every convention I go to, where's the crown? Where's the crown?
That's what happens. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with your.
I wonder if people ask you where your orange mohawk is,
dude. Yeah. Well, and then the current joke is like, I don't know if you've seen this guy on my videos.
Oh, yes, this is handsome man. Yeah.
Handsome man, right? So like now everywhere I go, people just expect this to be in my pocket because everybody's like, "Where's handsome man? I want to see the handsome man." So here we go. We'll put handsome man. He can
that's
hang out
what
here.
happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So yeah, people are already in the comments asking me to do the voice. So
yeah.
there it was, Daniel. But,
it's amazing.
It's all in good fun, though. It's all in good fun. But yeah, obviously, I think the last time we saw you was the Toylanta.
Toylanta,
yeah.
that's correct.
Toylanta, which was a big show. Brett put on a great show.
It was a fantastic turnout.
So much fun. Yeah, and it was big. I really liked that convention center, and it was like multi-leveled, so there was like stuff upstairs and downstairs. It was I couldn't get through all of it because it was busy. It was a busy show, but it was really fun.
And then, of course, that was my first impression because I filmed that, and I had filmed the previous Joe Lanta that was at the same location, but there was a lot of trouble at Joe Lanta because there was the hurricane, and there was also
that's right,
and then the biomat fire, and then they told the biolab fire, and they made everybody leave biolab because it had caused a chlorine cloud to cover the highway. And they said everybody shut it down and everybody get out. And so it's like, oh my God, poor Brett. But Lanta made up for it.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. I love it. It's bright for people who do a lot of shows. You know what I'm talking about. It's bright. You can see.
We kept commenting on that, like how bright the lights were. Like the show was so well lit. It was really cool.
Another thing that I liked about the show floor, how wide the aisles were.
Yeah.
Because when you usually go to shows, it's like narrow, and then you always got that guy that stands in the middle of the floor. But you can actually walk like side by side going both ways, and you still had space to get around, and that made it really nice.
Yeah, none of that like 13 people in a 12-man elevator kind of feel or Japanese subway.
Right.
Please, and
you can actually see what you're digging through in the bins because there was also lights.
Yeah.
So many toy shows are in dimly lit bingo halls or whatever, right? So
I've been to a few, and it's really dark, and that's bad, especially if it's a comic show, because you've really got to go over things with a fine-tooth comb with a comic book. It's like you got people are there with flashlights or using their phone to light it up, and it's like, oh my God.
That makes sense. That's wild. I never even thought about that before, but that makes total sense.
It's an investment. I mean, it's a hobby.
Yes,
it's your money. It's your hard-earned money. Hard-earned money. And of course, we'll be talking about a bunch of things tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to ask you about? Talk about your really quickly here, your workout journey.
Oh, my workout journey.
Because my wife and I, we on the other side of the wall, we got our own gym. We
work that's nice. That's
we work out together every day, and I know that you've been on a journey with that as well.
I have.
Yeah.
So I joined a gym a little over a year ago, and it was kind of just one of those moments I had, right? Like you just hit this point where you wake up and you get out of bed and you're like, I should probably start doing something, like just something to because I feel like I need to do something just to make sure that I'm healthy or better than what I'm at now. So, one of my best friends in person, he's worked out like forever, and he used to be a personal trainer and everything. So I was just like, hey, where are you working out now? And can I come join your gym and start working out with you? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I just started going with him, and now it's become a normal part of my life, which is awesome. Because even though it's funny, like I spent years and years and years doing the indie pro wrestling thing, but I never even had like a solid committed workout plan during that, aside from wrestling training. I did lots of wrestling training every night, and that always kept me in really good shape. But since I don't do that as often anymore, I don't know, man, I was starting to do that. I'm in my middle-aged man thing going on, right? And I'm like, I just need to do something. I need to be physical again. But Christina, my wife, comes with me now too. We all work out together.
That's wonderful.
We do a lot of weight training. It's a lot of weightlifting and stuff. But we go multiple times a week now, and it's awesome, man. Like, it's hard, and we push ourselves, but especially because it's so hot right now. Oh my God, working out in the heat, man. But I feel so much better, and I know that I look better. People compliment me and stuff. So like that makes me feel good, because I'm like, oh wow, like something's happening. Like I'm actually if people can see it, that makes me feel really good. So yeah, it's been a good journey. And
thank you, Pastor Rick. That's for anybody who's new or doesn't understand. That's for our cat shelter. We rescue abandoned and lost and wounded felines, and we currently have 13 in our own shelter at home. So
that's awesome.
So thank you, Pastor Rick.
Now, Dan, you said that you did indie wrestling before, because I know you, like, a year or two ago, you did something with wrestling and a figure. So you were wrestling before that?
So I got involved in independent pro wrestling pretty much right out of high school. So back in like 2001, I joined a wrestling school in Springfield, Illinois, and I went to training. I learned how to be a pro wrestler. And then my 20s were basically spent 20s and early 30s. I was traveling around the Midwest every weekend working wrestling shows on the independent circuit. It's just, pro wrestling's always been a passion of mine. I love doing it. It's funny because like it predates everything I do with Pixel Dan. Like pro wrestling was like my everything before this, right? Like I've always been a toy fan and a toy collector and all that stuff, but like wrestling was my main thing. And I did a lot of that kind of stuff where like for a while I was like, do I want to go pro? Do I want to do this like for a living? And, then life happens and things change. Like I met the girl that became my wife, and we had kids, and I started slowing down with the wrestling stuff. But I'm still, to this day, I'm still involved in a couple of local promotions just because I love doing it. I love helping. I love being a part of the business. So like even I do stuff like I'll do commentary at shows. I help with ring announcing if they need it. I still get in the ring and throw down every now and then when the opportunity is right. It hurts a lot more now. I started doing it 20 some years ago, so I'm like 43 now, and it definitely is. There's a difference, right? Bumping around in that ring when you're 20 is different than bumping around in that ring when you're 40. Let me tell you, there's a big difference. But I love it, man. It's always going to be a part of me, I think. And not too long ago, I had the opportunity to have a match with Matt Cardona, who, you know, you might know him. He was in the WWE as Zack Ryder, but he's really made a name for himself on the indies as Matt Cardona. And he's big into toys. He has the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. He makes a lot of his own toys, like the Major Bendies and the big rubber guys, like modern LJN style wrestling figures. They do all that stuff.
Which I think is it Hasbro's trying to bring those back too?
Mattel is bringing those back too. Yeah,
looking like old LJNs.
Yeah. So you know, we met because he was a toy guy too, and so we kind of talked online back and forth, and we kind of became, you know, just toy acquaintances online. And then, you know, we would kind of like fight back and forth through Twitter and stuff like that. And people always kind of like noticed it, like, oh, look at this, you guys should have a match. So like it kind of just came together where we were like, hey, would you really be interested? Like, because I'm a wrestler, I've been trained, I do this. You want to like do a match? We should do that. So he was down for it. He loved the idea. And we found a promoter to make it work here in Springfield, Illinois. And we did a wrestling match and it was super fun. We had a blast. And that's what ultimately led to his company making me as a Major Bendy's figure. They made me, you know, so it's really cool. And it's just one of those things that always is funny to me because I did the wrestling thing for so long before I was Pixel Dan. It's really funny that me being Pixel Dan is what ultimately got me to like having a wrestling action figure. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really funny how life works sometimes, just the way.
Yeah, kind of in reverse. It's kind of like how Sergeant Savage is not Sergeant Savage, Sergeant Slaughter is more loved for being Sergeant Slaughter from G.I. Joe than from his wrestling career. I mean, he even carries around the Joe belt, you know, so and he loves it. He loves it. But that's what's immortalized him ultimately, which is fascinating.
So bring us to, how did you get into collecting? Because I didn't know that you were a wrestler, but you said that you were also a collector. So how did you get from a little collector to Pixel Dan?
Oh man, yeah. So I always kind of like, because I was always a toy fan growing up, right? Like my childhood was Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a lot of the stuff around that, well into like the Toy Biz, X-Men, Marvel superheroes. Those were all kind of the last things before like I got too old for toys. And then, you know, had my teenage years where I wasn't really getting toys anymore. But it was in 95 when Star Wars Power of the Force came out. I remember seeing the new Star Wars toys in stores and just going, oh man, I kind of want these. And I remember even being like, Mom, look at these Star Wars toys. Cause my mom and dad both like Star Wars and my mom likes Star Wars a lot. So it was one of those things where I was like, they got new toys for Star Wars. And I was kind of doing that thing where I'm like, I can get these, right? Like, I'm not too old for these. I want these. Right.
There you go.
But, so like I was able to get them. And then like, I did that thing where like, I'm not a kid, so I have to keep these in the package. I have to keep them packaged because I'm a collector now.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, I got it. That was also, I turned 16 around, you know, shortly after that. I got a job. So then I would have my own money. I'd go out. I would buy Star Wars figures with my money, like every Friday, go to Toys R Us, go to the mall, whatever, KB Toys, buy 1 or 2 new Star Wars figures, had them all pegged up in my bedroom on the wall. So like, I always point to that as like, that's got to be like the moment, right? Like that toy line is what turned me. That was the trigger. That's what really like made me a collector. And then in 2000, I was out of high school and Mattel released the commemorative series for Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Those were the reissues of just the vintage line that were in those fancy boxes. And I remember walking through a Walmart and seeing those hanging there and just that moment of like, oh, my childhood. Oh my God, I need these, right? I have got to have these. I had these when I was a kid. And like, this was back when Walmart still had layaway.
Oh yeah.
And I was like I was fresh out of high school. I was getting ready to go. I was going into college. I didn't have a ton of money from my fast food job that I had. So like I scooped all those up off the shelf and I put them on layaway. I put them all on layaway at Walmart and I slowly paid them off until I was able to bring them all home. And then
layaway is one of those things that if you say it to anybody who's not in our age group, they don't know what the hell you're talking about now.
Exactly.
It's just kind of faded away. It's hilarious. It's like dial-up modems and caller ID. It's like, what are you talking about?
And payphones and payphones.
Used to be able to get stores to hold things for you as long as you were making payments. It's amazing. It's amazing.
For me, KB Toy Store was the place.
Yeah.
Oh, KB. Yeah.
Red line discounts, which were not handwritten on there. They were printed.
Yeah, I know. So cool. KB was great, dude. They had the 3 for $10 bins up front. Like that was another thing. Like I remember seeing all those Ninja Turtles that were like some of the early reissues, right? Of the vintage Turtles were always up there 3 for $10 and kind of had the same reaction there. Like, oh my God, Ninja Turtles. Whoa. And they're 3 for $10, you know? So that's definitely the moment, right? 99, 2000 between like that commemorative MOTU line. That's what really opened it up. Cause now I wasn't just like, oh, I buy Star Wars toys. Now I was, oh my God, I'm going to eBay. What's eBay? Oh, eBay. I'm going to go look up all the things I had when I was a kid. And then, you know, next thing you know, stuff's coming to your house all the time because you're like buying something you had when you were a kid and buying this. And that's really when the floodgates open, man. And then, that's when I became a collector.
Then it goes from I had this when I was a kid to I wanted this when I was a kid.
Yep. That's the next step, right?
And then you jump to the ultimate stage. I probably would have wanted this when I was a kid.
Yep.
I may as well get it now.
there's always a next step.
Just another step.
And it's still going on today. It's like I'm always discovering something else. Like, oh,
and
well,
then then it's I think this would fit. It kind of goes with something. Yeah.
Something else I collect. Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Yeah.
That's where you end up.
And then I feel like we all have that same story somehow in some shape or form, right? Like I feel like it all went in a very similar way for all of us, maybe just with a different trigger, but like we all followed that path.
Mine was wanting something back that was taken from me because it was in Allston, Massachusetts. There you go, Saturday morning fan. It was in Allston, Massachusetts. There was a toy shop, and this was in the like late 80s, which is a rare for that time period, you know, a vintage toys, anything. And it was an Adventure Team Land Adventurer in the box, still unplayed with. And when I saw it, I remembered I had one for all of about a day when I was a kid. Because, and it's not the best story because my mother had an issue with it for whatever reason, whoever gave it to me or whatever it was, she destroyed it.
Oh, boy.
Completely destroyed it right in front of me. And so I was like, and I saw it and I'm like, I want it back.
Yeah.
That was mine and I want it back. And that's what I didn't even haggle. I didn't know anything about that at the time anyways, but that's what got me going. And from that point forward, it was like, hey, wait a minute. G.I. Joe, this is the same as those 3 3/4 inch ones. So they're still a family. So what else did they make? And then of course, that leads to something else. If you were getting G.I. Joe at that time period, a lot of Joe collectors also collected marks because they wanted the horses and accessories for the Joes. And Steve Scout because they were also 6th scale. And so that leads into marks, that leads into Steve Scout, and then where else are we going to go here? You know, that was my my jumping off point.
That's great. I have a fun story related to what you were talking about with like losing something as a kid and wanting to buy it again as an adult. So when I was young, I had Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh no. Wow.
And I loved my Teddy Ruxpin. I still have my actual childhood Teddy Ruxpin. I always thought it was awesome. I loved it. But I remember for probably a birthday or Christmas one year, I got Grubby, which is his caterpillar like sidekick, right? And the way those are supposed to work is they're supposed to like you plug Grubby into Teddy, and then they both read their parts in the stories, right?
Yeah.
They both read their parts in the stories. And I remember I had him for all of a week and he stopped working. And my mom was so upset that this toy was so expensive and it stopped working. She took it back to the store and didn't get me another one. She just took it back. And I was so sad that like I just never got Grubby. I had him and then he was gone and I never got Grubby again. As an adult, I was out at a flea market toy hunting and somebody had a Grubby on the table. And like, I just instantly was like, oh my God, it's Grubby. Like I had him as a kid and I don't have him now. Is it weird that I want to buy this? Because I want to buy this. And I did. I bought it. I brought him home and I got out my old Teddy and I connected them and he works and he still works to this day. So I have Teddy and Grubby now and they both work and I love them. Those are just those. Did
you watch the show?
Yeah, the cartoon. Yeah.
Did you ever get
that theme song is the best, man. That's one of my
Did you ever get the 3 3/4 figures from that line?
I do. I have the airship too for it.
There you go.
Now. I have the airship. I have several of the figures. Yeah. I like Teddy Ruxpin. That's one of my like young childhood, like very nostalgic toy lines. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know they made action figures.
So what toy line do you really want? You don't have it right now, but you like, oh man, if I saw that, I don't care, I'm buying it.
Oh my gosh, that is really hard because I feel like I've dabbled into so many things at this point. Because the most recent one I really started going kind of ham on was is Black Star. Galoo Black Star kind of became one of my recent like obsessions. Yeah.
It's like primitive version of Masters of the Universe because the dialogue is obviously for a much younger audience.
Right. Yeah. The toys are so good and they've gotten so like kind of hard to get a hold of in good shape. And so they're
terrible if you could find it packaged.
Yeah. And they've gotten expensive. So like, I don't know, like I started getting them and I just got bit by that bug and they kind of became like a recent obsession of mine. So like, that's like one of the recent things that I've done that to. Like, I was just like, oh, now I want to collect this toy line. It's like, I got a couple and then I went nuts. I got the castle last year, which is expensive and fragile, as you guys know. So that was like a big purchase. This is a big boy purchase, but I love it. Yeah, what's a good one that I'd still really like to get into? I'm still kind of just now getting into the LJ and Dungeons and Dragons toy line. Like I got a few pieces for that, which really kind of started, honestly. Like I got the Fortress of Fangs because I always thought that was such a cool looking play set. And it was one that I looked at for years and years and years. And when the opportunity finally kind of presented itself to get one for a good price, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then of course, once you get the play set for a toy line you don't really collect, it's like, well, I guess I'm collecting this toy line. It's like I've got like the main centerpiece for the toy line. I need figures to go with it, right? So yeah, heck yeah, Attic Invaders. Yeah. So like Narc from Attic Invaders, we both kind of fought over that Fortress of Fangs because we both called dibs on it at the same time. We had a little bit of a back and forth on who got it.
And I'll point out there, K Munit had mentioned, yes, we saw that. Thank you. The CBCA, the Comic Book Community Awards, or cbcawards.org, because we've been nominated for reviews.
Yes.
So if anybody is so inclined, please do go to the website while voting is open. cbcawards.org, and drop us a vote if you don't mind.
Also, Hall has been nominated in several categories. So make sure
cool.
you know how we like to do, support the community. So go and vote for Hall. He's been there. And also lot of Alan from Comic Collector Geek. He's been nominated for, I only saw him in one category, but I think it was more than one, but I know for sure it was one. I know Hall was vote is in like 3 or 4 categories. But go and see who's on there and give them a vote.
Yeah, help them out.
That's awesome.
Another question I had for you.
Okay.
Because we talk about this a lot. Old toy lines, the new version, the remakes.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts and feelings of toy remakes? Because it's just so many remakes out there, and some people are all about remakes and some are like diehard originals.
So to clarify, are we talking about the ones that are straight reissues of the vintage toys? Kind of like what Playmates is doing with the Ninja Turtles, and
like Playmates, Super 7 did Ninja Turtles, NECA did Ninja Turtles, everybody is doing Masters of the Universe again.
Okay, okay, so you just mean like modern toy lines based on old properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, like I'm a big MOTU guy, so I have a lot of the MOTU stuff, and like I like modern toys based on a lot of these old properties, but like I guess the distinction would be like the ones that are recreating the vintage looks. Is that what you mean? Like Super 7 did all of the Ultimates that were kind of inspired by the Playmates toys figures. Like MOTU Origins is basically like a modern version of the vintage He-Man line. So I think that stuff is cool in the sense that it's like updating it with like modern articulation for people that care about stuff like that. And I mean, like, I really like the Origins line for the most part. I think it's been super fun. I was very skeptical of it when it first started. Like, I remember when they released it, because it was right after MOTU Classics. And MOTU Classics felt kind of like the ultimate version of like a Masters of the Universe toy line, right? Like, it felt like that the whole point of that line was to like modernize that vintage toy line with like collector qualities, right? Good sculpting, good accessories, good articulation. So then when Origins launched right after it, where they're like, well, now we're going to do them just like vintage, but articulated. My initial thought was like, well, this feels like a step backwards. Like, what are we doing here? Who wants this? Like, why do we need this? But I remember like getting, even when I finally got the first one in hand, like that's when it kind of clicked with me, because I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, it's kind of fun posing this figure around and moving him. And I like that aesthetically, it kind of looks like an old toy. And I'm a big fan of that vintage 5.5 style anyway, that squat He-Man, like Remco and all that. So I like that stuff. That really appeals to me. So I thought it was kind of cool getting a modern toy line in that style that was a little more articulated. So I'm
actually stand.
Yeah, it could stand, right? Yeah. Rubber bands weren't gonna wear out, and like you can actually pose it around. So it made sense after I got them and played with them, and I've really enjoyed that toy line as a whole. I think it's done some really fun stuff. So when you're doing that kind of thing, I really like it. When you're just straight reissuing the vintage figures, I think that's where it could get a little iffy, right? I don't mind those per se, but I know the big question is always like with accessories specifically, because there's always that worry that like people would confuse those with the vintage accessories or mix them up. You know what I mean? There's always been that reproduction or the repro question. Like, Hasbro has put out the retro Kenner Star Wars figures over again, right? And Playmates is constantly doing it with Ninja Turtles. Like, they just re-released the Mutant module and the Foot Cruiser and all these old vehicles. And the Mutant module specifically, if you've ever played with the old one, it's got all these tiny little accessories. Like, it's got these little tiny drills that go all the way around the big main drill that were always missing off the vintage one. And that's one of those little accessories that's like, well, it would be really cool to get this reissue because it's neat and it's brand new and it'll have all the parts. But then you worry about like those little pieces like that getting mixed in with vintage collections, and then it's not vintage anymore. You know what I mean? So I have my kind of like back and forth debate with myself on how I feel about that stuff, because it's like, as long as you can tell that it's a modern reissue, I think it's fine. But it gets a little hairy when it comes to those accessories sometimes, I think. So,
and there are some people that are unscrupulous with that as well. Because some people might not know the difference. Or they might not be able to tell. That's a bit of a problem.
I
agree.
That's true about the Technodrome.
Yeah,
they shrunk the Technodrome. I don't know why they shrunk it. It's weirdly small.
Save those pennies.
I guess
that's what it is.
But it's still ultra expensive.
Picture books. You did the MOTU book.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And
we have this book.
The funny thing about that book, when before yours came out, I was heavy into my Masters of the Universe, and and I was all online, all on YouTube, trying to find somebody that had a checklist, some pictures or something, you know, so I can keep it in order. And then you came out with your book, and I'm like, okay. And then I ordered it, and then it came out. And then now I had something to compare, and I wanted to write in it, and David slapped my hand.
He wouldn't let you write. I've seen people who have done that. Like I've seen people have brought this book to me at conventions to autograph. That has been like all beat up, the binding's falling off. They've got like the sticky note flags hanging all out of it. The pages are like, because they really use it, like they carry it around and they use it to track stuff. And I think that's so cool. like that people are actually using it like out in the field to like find stuff. It makes me really happy. I think it's cool.
I get weird some kind of way about people writing in books.
And I don't write in books.
I get that.
I don't write in books, but when I got that book, I was like, oh, now I can finally check off what I have. I was excited. So I got my pen out. Before I got to mark the page, he slapped my hand, and then like I got the book, and then like I think it was like a week later, Origins came out. And I was like, oh, I don't care, because I just wanted the original. So yours went for everything I had. I think yours stopped at Super 7.
Yes,
it did. It stopped.
That's where I stopped.
2019.
Yeah. So
that's good enough. I mean, that's, as I was saying earlier, that's for most people, the vintage line is the meat and potatoes of it. That's hard enough to keep track of.
It's funny when we were doing that, like. We didn't know.
I was looking at Saturday Morning Fan, and they're saying that they got their public library to carry your book.
So cool. There's been a couple libraries that I know of that have that book, and a few people that are at school, like work in schools, have showed me that my book is in like the school libraries. I'm like, this is insane. Like to think that a He-Man book is just in some school library. That's amazing. So when we were working on the book, though, like we had no idea that MOTU Origins was coming, right? We didn't know that Mattel was planning to relaunch Masters of the Universe in 2020. And so as far as we were concerned, like we were making a book that was complete. It was everything. In fact, Super 7 had not even delivered Snake Mountain yet. Like it was still in the works of like, because they did like essentially like a crowdfund for Snake Mountain for classics, if you remember. And so like it had not started shipping yet, and we had a deadline to turn the book in. So we were so close to not even getting Snake Mountain in the book. We actually asked Super 7 if they could like I reached out and I said, if I give you a list of photos that I need for the book, will you take those photos of the prototype? And they agreed to do it. So the pictures of Snake Mountain in the book is actually the prototype because the production one had not shipped yet. So it was like we just had to squeeze in that last thing. And I was so proud that we did. And then right after the book went to printing, Mattel was like, here's a new He-Man toy line. And I was like, what? I was like, no. I just got everything in that book. Stop.
How long did it take you to compile that book? The Masters of the Universe one.
That was about a 3.5-year process.
Oh,
wow.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Because we did, aside from that Snake Mountain that I just told you about, we did all the photography ourselves. So it's all myself and my partner on the book, Val Staples. You may know he runs PowerCon and has been involved in a lot of Dark Horse's publications for various Masters of the Universe projects. But we traveled around the country meeting up with toy collectors who had stuff and basically set up photo studios in their homes for a weekend and photographed, because we had to photograph everything, vintage and 2000X and She-Ra and New Adventures and classics. Plus we had to do everything opened and in box. So we really had to rely on the fan community to help us collect all that stuff so that we could photograph it and put it in the book. So it was several years of that. And then once you get that part done, that's where all the research and the writing starts coming in, the layouts, figuring out the layouts, getting that all sorted together. And then once you start piecing it all together, you start realizing, we forgot to get a picture of this, or this picture didn't turn out as good. And so then the reshoots start, right? So then you start making a list of everything that you got to go back and shoot again. So it's so much work. And that's one of those things where I knew it was going to be a big project when I got into it, but it was a learning experience. I had no idea just how deep that was going to get. And it's a lot. If you've ever worked on a big project like that or authored anything, or that sometimes you get to these moments where it kind of breaks you. There was moments where I was literally sitting over my laptop practically weeping because I was just so oh my God, I'm never going to get this done. It's never going to be complete. But the moment when we finished it and especially getting to hold it in hand, it was this was awesome because it's a physical manifestation of years worth of work. Right. And it was just so cool to hold this and go, I made this. This is something that me and my team made. It was a really, really, really cool accomplishment.
What you just said makes me think of, if you're familiar with Rowan Atkinson's Blackadder, you remember the Blackadder, the second series, and he's talking with the man who wrote the dictionary, and it's not yet. He's got the bundle of dictionary, and he mentions sausage, and the guy's like, sausage, and flips through and throws it on the ground because he realizes he didn't put sausage in there.
He didn't put sausage in there. This is one of the things that I've really run into. I want to go back to that Wonder Bread comment here in a second that was just up. I want to address that. But one of the things you were just saying, David, I kept feeling, and I feel like this all the time, and I'm sure anybody that writes or creates feels this way, but you just have this moment where you have to just kind of stop and realize it's done. It's as done as it's going to get, right? Yeah. Because you always feel like there's something more you could be doing. There's something else you could add. You must be missing something somewhere. And a friend of mine named Dave actually had a conversation with me, and he said this to me, and it really stuck with me. He said, art is never finished. Art is merely abandoned. And it really just that really resonated with me. And it's he's right. It's just at some point you just have to go, this is send to print. This is it. This is we did our best. You know what I mean? And hopefully, yeah. But somebody had mentioned the Wonder Bread He-Man, or as I like to say, the savage He-Man. I don't like using the word Wonder Bread He-Man because because it's incorrect. It's incorrect. We did include a small bit of info on him in this book, and that's one of the things that I really, really, really want to go back and like, if I could make it better and more detailed, I would, especially because so much more information has come out about that figure.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, we tried so hard to get as much information as we could for this, and we just kept getting shot down at every turn. Like Mattel kept telling us they didn't have the info, they couldn't find anything, they didn't have the information. And so we the article that's in here, Val actually really wrote that up. It's just a small section right here, but he wrote it up based on the information that we knew as we knew it. And like literally as soon as this was to print, more of that information started trickling out onto the internet. And now there's just like, we know so much more about it that it makes me look at this and go, oh my God, if I could fix one thing in this book, I would do a much better dive on that particular figure in here.
Now, a couple of people have been asking, what's next? Well, let's do this. Is there something next? I think
there is something next. That's right.
There is. And I'm sure Dan would love to tell us about it. And that's right. He's got a Ninja Turtle project going, and it's on pre-orders right now.
That is correct. Yes. So we are following up the MOTU book with a book on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line. So the title of the book, it kind of even fits the same naming device. It's called The Toys of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1. And that's because this book covers every action figure, vehicle, and playset released from 1988 through 1993. So that is actually about half of the original toy line.
And that's a lot by itself.
But you're right, because this book is over 600 pages by itself, which is why we decided we had to split it up. Like they were trying to cram everything into the one book the way we wanted to do it and properly show everything really just wasn't feasible. So we decided, like, let's split it up. We'll do 2 volumes. Volume 1 here has got 88 through 93, which what I keep telling everybody, and I think it's the truth, the stuff that you remember from when you were a kid, the stuff that you're nostalgic for, they're all going to be here in Volume 1. Volume 2 is going to be filled with that stuff that you go, what is this? I don't remember this. Oh my gosh, this is crazy, right? Because it's that whole weird second half of the toy line that I think a lot of people just kind of missed, or they grew out of, or it was overlooked. So this first book is going to have, like, this is a lot of the stuff you remember. And as you can see, the picture you're showing there has Scratch.
Yes.
He's kind of like, the Grail piece, right? He's one of the expensive figures in the original line, and he came out in 1993. So 93 is like a great year for this book to end on, because that's going to get you your Scratches and your hot spots and, you know, some of those final mutant characters that are so expensive now. They're all in this book. So
how long have you been working on this one?
About the same amount of time was the MOTU one. We've been on this for about 3.5 years at this point. It's the same kind of thing. It's all photography. And once again, I'm relying on the Ninja Turtles community to really help us out with this as much as possible. You know, we've been photographing people's collections to make sure we've got everything included. One of the guys, I want to talk about this to give a proper shout out. If any of you have been collecting Ninja Turtles, you might have stumbled onto a website in your journeys called TMNTtoys.com. And it's like the virtual Ninja Turtles checklist. And he's been running this site for many, many years. Like, I have always gone to that website to, like, look up a Ninja Turtle. So I actually met up with him. His name is also Dan, coincidentally. And I've been visiting with him. And a lot of the stuff I photographed for this book is his collection. So I love that, because it's kind of like the legacy of his website kind of gets to live on in this book here too. He's been such a big part of tracking all this stuff for so many years. So I love that I got to include him in this project here.
Now, toys of TMNT.com, is that the only place anybody can get this right now?
Correct. It is. That's the only place we're selling it at the moment. We are self-publishing this time. So I know I get asked about like international a lot, and it's like we are selling to international buyers, but I don't have international distribution at the moment. That's something that I might be able to get after we send this to print and down the road. I would love nothing more than this to be easy to get for everybody. You can order it if you're international. Shipping costs are not pretty. You got to understand it's like a just under 10-pound book package that's going to get shipped. We have a we're working with a what's the word I'm looking for, like a distributor that is specifically handling the shipping of our international stuff, because they can get better shipping rates internationally, but they're still not pretty. I mean, shipping is just, it's not nice, the shipping costs. So I apologize to any international fans that like get prices out. I definitely don't want to do that, and I'm hoping that we can get some international distribution down the road. That's the ultimate goal.
Okay. So right now they have to go to the website to pick it up, and it says a day left to pre-order.
Right. So that's the initial pre-orders end tomorrow, Sunday, August 17th. Now, what we're doing is we have a couple different options here that we're offering. There's the standard guide. Do you have a way to pull up the website to show people? I can kind of talk you through it real quick.
Sure, let me see.
So there's a standard guide, which is just like that's just like this basically, but for Ninja Turtles. But then we also have a special edition, which is a little fancier. It's like got faux green leather binding and silver gilded page edges. So it's a little fancier. So the special edition is only being offered during this pre-order period. So it's like made to order. So, and then we've also got the variant guide, which is like an add-on. And this is like, this was written by my friend John Coleman, who's been working with me on the book. And it's like a black and white checklist book that specifically covers like all the nitty gritty of the variants in the line, if you're interested in something like that. So it's like an add-on to the main book that is specifically made for people who really want to have like a checklist into how deep the variations go on things. The variant guide is also made to order, so it is only being offered during the pre-order period. So if you're interested in either of those two, you have 1 day left to order. We'll be ordering more stock of the standard guide, so in theory, that one will still be available to order later. I will definitely be doing like convention appearances with the book and have it to sell at places, but ultimately, like the thing we're trying to really get across is, since this is a self-published thing, like the pre-orders are what's helping us meet our minimum requirements to send it to print. So if I've been stressing, like if this is something that you're really interested in, you're going to want it. If you can swing it, please consider pre-ordering it now, because the more pre-orders we get, the easier it is for us to get our numbers so that we can get off to the printers and not have to worry about, that aspect of it.
Okay, now this is the page.
That's the page. Yep. So you can see our different options there. The green one there in the center, that's the special edition. So like I said, it's the same contents, but if you're somebody that's into like the fancier, it's really neat. It's got this great faux leather that's green for the cover. That design on the front there is like embossed silver, so it's shiny. The page edges are like shiny, so it's just the same book, but it's just a little fancier. And I know some people are into that sort of thing, and it turns out it looks so cool. I love the way it turned out with the graphic and everything on the front. So but that one's made to order, and then that variant guide there is also made to order.
Okay. Now I see over here you got them bundled. So if you bundle it, you can get it
some money
made to order. But what if you want to bundle the leather bound?
I think they got that down.
Oh, I see.
There you go. We got all the options there for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And all the bundles will save you some money. So if you do want to have the add-on with the main book, or if you want to like get all three, we've got that option there too, and it'll save you some money. So we tried to make it we had a lot of requests for that in the beginning, so we made the bundles. A lot of people asked for bundles, so we put those together. We're doing our best to try to like make it as accessible to everybody as we possibly can, but also make sure that we're still like in our means to like send it to the printers, right? We got to make sure that we're covering our cost for the print run. And we also have to, I think we have to have everything sent to the printers within the next month or so to make sure that everything comes back and is delivered by spring 2026. That's the shipping date.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just about to ask when you think you were going to get it out. Okay.
Hopefully it'll be in earlier than that. Fingers crossed if everything goes well, but spring 2026 is what we're saying for shipping.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too long. Okay. That sounds good. I'm excited about
it. I'm really sorry about the Canadian. I'm sorry about the international stuff. It's trust me, I've had lots of conversations. We've been doing our best to figure it out, and I'm not done trying to figure it out. Okay. I want to make sure that I want this to be available to anybody that wants it. So I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. And like you were saying, at some point you'll be able to bring them to shows and
yes,
yeah.
That's definitely the goal. Like the same way I did with the MOTU book, I will go on a book tour and I will go anywhere that wants to, I can set up at, or toy stores want to bring me out, or I'll go to a lot of the same conventions I usually try to hit up, and I'll bring the books with me so that people can see them in person and stuff.
I assume you mean vintage toy stores.
That's right.
Are no more toys.
That's right. Yes. Sorry. Yes. The awesome vintage mom and pop shops. Those are the shops. That's what I'm talking about.
It's okay. That's another whole topic of discussion.
It totally is. Yeah.
That's something that faded away, unfortunately, with payphones and other things.
Right.
So what made you want to do Ninja Turtles? I know you were a big fan of Masters of the Universe, so that's like, okay, I could get that. Are you just as big a fan of Ninja Turtles as you are of Masters of the Universe?
Pretty close. So my two tops are Masters of the Universe and Ninja Turtles, and that's basically the trajectory of my childhood. So it was Masters of the Universe for all my early childhood, and then that toy line ended in 87. And Turtles started in 88. It was such a perfect transition right into Turtles, right? So Turtles was like the whole second half of my childhood. And gosh, man, Turtles was so huge in that era. Like growing up in that time, you couldn't escape it. It was everywhere. So I've always loved Turtles almost as much as I love He-Man. They're real close neck and neck. And it's funny because like the moment I released the He-Man book, like as soon as that book came out and it was in people's hands, I immediately started getting asked, okay, so where's the Turtles book? When's the Turtles book coming? It's like, it was the number one request right away. Everybody was asking where the Turtles book is. So like, I kind of knew already, like if I was going to tackle another book project, that's the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to do my next favorite thing. Because it's another brand that has never really had that sort of documentation done with it. I'm a huge fan of toy books, which is why I wanted to do the MOTU one to begin with. I have a whole bookcase back here behind me that's filled with books for toy lines that I don't even really collect for. I've got a lot of Mark Belomo's books. I've got all the Transformers stuff and Star Wars and G.I. Joe. I've got Sansweet's book. I've got Carson's G.I. Joe books. I've got Wayne's books. I love toy books. I love toy books. And Turtles is another one that just really hadn't had that kind of in-depth guide done for it. So I just figured, like, if anybody's going to do it, why not me, right? Why not go for it? Why not give it the same treatment I gave MOTU?
I prefer that method anyways, because, back in the day, it was price guides.
Price guides, yes.
Had two problems. One, they were always incomplete. And two, the prices were always wrong. So you didn't get them for prices. Hopefully you just figured, okay, I did some kind of a reference here.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see something that's complete.
Yeah. I get asked that a lot. Like people always ask me why I didn't put prices in there. And I don't like them. I don't like them because they're out of date the moment you go to print. You know what I mean? Like that stuff fluctuates all the time. And that I wanted something to be more timeless. I wanted you to be able to look at this at any point and pick it up, and it's a perfect reference guide. The pricing information would be obsolete within months of that book being out, because it'll either increase or dip, right? And it'll fluctuate. And that's the reason why I'm not doing the price guide. And a lot of people have asked about me doing it for turtles, and I've told them I'm not going to do that for turtles either, just because I don't feel like there's a need to print that information in a book. If you really want to know how much something is worth, get on eBay, look at the sold listings. That's going to give you the most accurate idea of what people are paying for something, right?
That's Curry talking right there. He does.
Oh no.
Don't ask me. Go to eBay. Look at the completed auctions, which is true for most things. I mean, there's
most things, right?
You're never going to see, but
it's almost like that's a good baseline. I mean, like that's kind of like top dollar, right? Like that's the most somebody is going to pay for something is what you're seeing in the sold listings on eBay. So if you're willing to go out and hunt for it, you can probably get it for a little cheaper than that price. Is kind of the way I look at it, right? That's like that's my gauge. Like, okay, somebody just bought one for this. Maybe if I find it, I can get it for, 20, 40 cheaper than that. Depending on what it is. I don't know. That's what I do. But, so somebody had mentioned the pages, and in the Turtles book, different than the He-Man book, we are doing 2-page spreads for each of the items in the Turtles book. In the MOTU book, we were stuck with doing 1 page per item because we had to squeeze in 1982 through 2019. So we had a lot to cover. And one of the big criticisms I got on that book, I had two criticisms on that book that I heard over and over. One of them I saw in the chat over here. One of those criticisms was that we didn't go in chronological order of release for the figures. And the reason for that in that book is because every chapter was a toy line. So we went alphabetically by toy line so that it was an easy reference. Like our logic on that was, okay, if I know that this figure was in the vintage MOTU line, I go to chapter 1, and then if it's Mosquitor, I go to the M's and I find Mosquitor. That was my idea behind it. However, a lot of people told me that they didn't like that they preferred it to be in release order. With the Turtles book, it's in release order. Every chapter is a year, and so you'll have all the figures for that year. So that way you can better track of the time period that the figures came out in. Number 2, a lot of people said that the pictures looked too small or crammed together in the MOTU book because we had to shove everything on 1 page. Specifically, I heard that criticism for the carded figure images because people wanted to be able to better see the artwork on the card backs, and those pictures were kind of small in the MOTU book. So expanding to 2 pages per figure with Turtles gave us more room to have larger images. Plus, Turtles come with so many more accessories than MOTU figures do. Most He-Man figures have 1 gun. Turtles have like 10 weapons apiece. Like they've got a lot of accessories. So this allowed us to have space to get our glamour shots, our good breakdown of all the accessories, nice large carded figure pictures front and back, turnarounds, action feature shots. It's all there. So it's that kind of thing where we really learned from the first book, and we're trying to apply what we learned going forward and just making the best book we possibly can.
Okay, so you have there'll be an index then for people want to look up something specific.
Yes, there should be an index for sure. So many throwing stars. Every figure gets a ninja star. Why not? At least 2.
Yeah, they do have a lot of pieces with those.
Yeah,
they did have a lot of pieces. So same as like the Ara era line.
Yeah.
Lot. Some didn't have much. Some came with a lot of little bits and pieces, but that's that gives it play value.
Right.
That gives it a lot of play value, and that's important. I guess that's the point with the Ninja Turtles.
This is a great question here. The character bios. So there's a photo of the card back. So you should be able to read the bio on the photo of the card back. Technically, I can't retype that because I don't own that text, right? So I'm because I'm self-publishing this book. The written words in the book have to be my words. You know, so I can't like use, but there's a photo of the card back, so you will have the bio based on that.
And Toy Chic got your book.
Yay!
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just saying, not having it in hand, if it's anything like the Masters of the Universe book, it's definitely worth it.
Well, from what you're saying and seeing the pictures, because you do have the two-page spread, that's going to look a lot better. Because I mean, I understand what you're saying. You only had a limited space to work with, but having a 2-page spread is going to be a lot better. So
I think so too. I think it looks so good. I'm so proud of the layout in the book and just how bright and vibrant and colorful, and it doesn't look cluttered. It just like all props go to Val Staples and the rest of the people we have on my team that have, because they're the art. He's the art guy. I'm not the art guy. That's all like his direction. But it turned out so good, and I can't wait to actually see it printed in hand. Like, I think it's going to be awesome.
So do you have any ideas of what you're going to do next, or are you just going to take a long break?
Well, I guess initially the next thing will be volume 2, because I want we're working on all of it at the same time. So I've been photographing all this stuff this whole time. And I want volume 2 to come out fairly quickly after volume 1, like at least a year or so apart, because I want people to be able to have the full vintage toy line. A lot of people have asked me if I'm going to go forward from there, and that's always a possibility. I mean, I could always do volume 3 and pick up with the 2003 era Turtles if it seems like there's a demand for that sort of thing. You know what I mean? I got to kind of judge if there's enough people that seems like they want that. I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. But I would also like to talk about other toy lines, some other non-turtle stuff.
And I hate to break some hearts here really quickly, but gotta say it, those would still technically be vintage at this point.
You're totally right. Oh my god. That's true. We're so old.
I know. I bring that up from time to time, and it's like, wait a minute, what are you saying? Yeah, vintage, 20 years. You know, those Star Wars Power of the Force figures, vintage now.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, oh my god, because it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel that way.
Does Frankie Frog mean the Foo Fighters like the band, or Food Fighters like the Food Fighters?
Food Fighters. That's a very small line, though. I think there's only like 10 figures.
I keep talking about, and maybe I shouldn't keep throwing this idea out there. Somebody's going to steal it. But what I would love to do, a book that is like just all of these like one wave toy lines, like these smaller ones as a collection, and like, you know, like one hit wonders of the 80s and one hit wonders of the 90s, and just all these little Food Fighters and Computer Warriors and all these weirdo toy lines that got like one wave, but would still be really interesting to flip. Don't you think that'd be a fun book to flip through? And like, I think
some of them would surprise you. I know when you were here, I think one of the things that came up is the Brave Star. That's a one hit wonder, but it's a massive can of worms because they had exclusives all over the place.
Oh my gosh,
every time you think you're close to finishing it, I mean, there are figures I'll never be able to find. Like, you know, in the Ara line, who was it? Tripwire. They had the carded Tripwire that comes with the cassette tape, the orange one. They did that with Brave Star. There's a carded version with a cassette. If I have a spare $1,500, $2,000, maybe I can. They did all these exclusive 2-packs for like Sears and all this other stuff, and it's just like, oh my god, you know, you feel like you'll never finish it, but it is stuff people have never seen or heard of.
I know, and you're talking about the international releases is just that whole other rabbit hole, right? That whole other rabbit hole to dig down, and just all the crazy stuff that's out there. It's amazing. That was a good question. That's somebody just
one?
Yeah, if I could keep only one of my toys,
they love asking
people
that
ask
question
us that all the time.
It's
like, I don't know.
So I have a pretty standard answer that I give, and I think it's the truth still. I think if there was one toy that I would save, it would just be the original 1982 He-Man, just the original He-Man, because I just feel like that is overall the most important toy to me as far as like my childhood goes, the whole Pixel Dan thing goes, like everything. Like He-Man is like, he's like the representation of like all of this for me. So like it would just be He-Man. Like I would have to keep He-Man.
Not Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby?
Listen to me. That would be no Teddy.
At like 2 o'clock in the morning with like 18 fire trucks around the property, and you're out there and it's -20 and you're ankle deep in slush in Illinois weather with Grubby and
Teddy.
And then
I turn him on so he's like, come dream with me tonight. I will, Teddy.
I promise you, though, you'll end up on the front page of the paper.
Holding a little Teddy
like, oh my God. Could you imagine?
Man loses mind after fire.
And then they show you wrapped up in a blanket holding
Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. Saves his animatronic teddy bear from the 80s. Don't worry, his kids are fine.
Yeah.
You got tears just running down your face.
Oh no, they're freezing. He's got
yeah. My beard's filled with icicles.
we get that question all the time, and it's like, oh God, I have
no idea. It's tough.
You love different things for different reasons,
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Dino Riders is a massive line.
Yeah.
Dino Riders and Bone Age are huge.
Oh man, yeah.
That's huge. They really cranked those out.
Here. Those are so cool. They're such cool toys. I would love to cover a lot of that stuff. And I think putting them together in a book that's just a combination of a lot of that kind of stuff would be a really fun way to put it out there. Mm-hmm. It's tough, like, because you always have to think, like, as the toy fan, it's always like, man, I would love to have a book like that. But then as like the entrepreneur, the guy that has to sell this stuff, you have to go, oh gosh, would that sell? Would I be able to sell those books? Like it's tough when you're like, when it's not the big ones. Like if it's not Transformers or He-Man or Turtles or G.I. Joe, it's kind of a hard sell, right? Because like they're just not as big or well known as those bigger lines.
Yeah,
so that's always the trick.
The term I used for it was the big sexy lines.
Yeah, there you go.
Basically, because we had our videos that we've done some time ago, 70s, 80s, 3 different ones, 70s, 80s, and 90s action figures that are cheaper than modern counterparts. Because people, one thing I hear all the time is, I can't afford to get boxed and carded figures like you do because they're so expensive. It's like, no, you're looking at the wrong ones. Mm-hmm. There are lines, there are toy lines. Like I've got the complete Kenner Karate Commandos. You can still get those for the most part, $50 a piece, mint on the card. If you catch them at auction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's a vintage 80s line. It's classic. It's Chuck Norris. I mean, and they'll, oh really? Yeah. They're not all G.I. Joe. They're not all Ninja Turtles.
That's a great. People always say that to me. Like, you're too young to know about He-Man. Like, you guys just don't understand. Like, He-Man was everywhere when I was a kid. All right. Yeah. Like it was everywhere. And also, like, kid years are so weird. We forget how slow time moves when you're a kid, and like things that happen at certain points in your life that are only like, you think about the original He-Man toy line, it went from 82 to 87. It's not a very long toy line, but that feels like a lifetime as a kid, right? It's just always there. And like, I realize that with my kids now, because my youngest is 5 years old right now, but he's already, in just the short amount of time he's been on this planet, has gone through phases of things that he loves, right? Like he is currently very into Pokemon. He just kind of discovered Pokemon and he loves Pokemon, but he's been through all these other things that he loves, and he's only 5. So like that was me with He-Man when I was a kid. And I still very specifically like watching that Filmation cartoon with my mom all the time. My mom took me to see the 87 movie in theaters. I remember it. And then I remember watching the taped copy of it off of Showtime on a VHS tape, like until I ran that tape out, right? Like it was there. Even though the toy line ended, doesn't mean like it itself died, right? The cartoon was still running in syndication, and I had all my toys, and like it was still there. He-Man was a big part of my childhood, and until Turtles exploded, and then Turtles was everywhere.
Now I had a question about the Turtles. If you continue on with the Turtles, are you going to pick up all the lines, all of their crossovers, all of the extra stuff?
In the modern era, it's gotten kind of weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how I would even try to cover the modern stuff. And that's another thing too, that's like, you always have to wonder if people really care about a checklist of the modern toy lines in book form. It feels like the vintage stuff feels like it's an easier sell because it's nostalgic, right? It's something you could pick up as a checklist to collecting the old stuff, or have in place of buying the old stuff because it's harder for you to do. Like, I just don't know if the interest would really be there for like modern toy lines to be covered in that kind of detail in a book. I don't know if people would buy those books, you know what I mean? And you're right. Like Turtles has become this brand that, what do they call it? Slicensing, because everybody gets a slice, right? They throw Turtles to anybody that wants to make a toy. Every toy company has made Turtles now.
When Eastman and Layard sold their rights, it ended up everywhere. And right now, it's McDonald's, I think, right? Ninja Turtle Hello Kitty crossover prizes.
Yes, I know. My kids got some of those the other day, and I was like, what are these?
What the hell happened?
That's a super weird crossover. Oh, man.
And it's like, do you want to capture that?
I don't really. I don't really. I mean,
and then you put the Funko Pops, and you put that in your book too.
Oh, I know, the Funko Pops and
Funko Pops is out of control, and I've gone on and on about that because they are truly the artificial demand model. They have mastered the artificial demand model.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
I used to always say, like, the thing that was cool about Pops is like they always, Funko Pops do that thing where they're not just like a toy collector's thing. Like they got mainstream.
Yeah,
because they're like that collectible where like they just have everything. So if there's something that you like, you could probably buy a Funko Pop of it and you can just have it on your desk at work or something. And that's totally was their business model for a long time. But you're totally right in the sense that like they do that thing where they create the false scarcity, they create the hype and the demand for the exclusives and the rare drops and all that stuff. Like that was like, I don't know, man. That's tough. Like, that's not really my way of collecting. That's not, I don't know.
Well, it's tapping in on nostalgia, but and it's something that goes, and it's a different topic of discussion, but all of this is where everybody's missed the mark. All these TV shows, all these movies, all these franchises that everybody's trying to bring back or add something on to. They've missed something, and that is what it was that made this item a cultural phenomenon in the first place. You've missed it. You didn't really go and look at it and say, what was it about this that made it pop and everybody took a breath? You're sitting there looking at, wow, this made a crap ton of money. Let's copy it. And it's like that you're missing the magic completely. Magic, and that's why all these franchises are dying. They bring them back and people watch it and they're like, what was that? It didn't fit with what you remember because they don't understand. And there's a story I've told a couple of times. You've seen, I'm sure, Wrath of Khan.
Yes, of course.
Best Star Trek film ever made.
Yeah.
chief writer on that. I saw him in an interview years ago, and he said he didn't know anything about Star Trek. So he went back and watched every episode of the original series so he could understand what was the attraction. And when he saw Space Seed, he said, I really like this. I wonder what Ricardo Montalban is doing right now. And because he cared enough to find out what was it? What made this a cultural phenomenon? Because he cared that much. You got awesome. The best Star Trek film ever done.
That's amazing.
But now people, they're like, oh, hey, this made a lot of money once upon a time. Let's do it again. And just write whatever. Just throw it together. And I think some toy lines do that too.
I think you're right. You're right. It's just that it's all part of that machine, man, that just like keep churning it out, keep bringing in the money. It's like we've definitely hit that point where like it's not entirely gone, because there's a lot of creatives out there that still care.
Oh, yeah.
But creativity is certainly like, it's not the focus every time, right? Sometimes it's just about how much can we merchandise this and how much money can we make off bringing this IP back. And it's very clear. It's very clear when you watch this.
That they got to make some money, but you know,
right? I know, but it's like you got to find there's got to be a middle ground in there somewhere, right? Like all of this stuff we care about so much, like you said, all of this stuff is cared about so much because it meant something to us at some point in our lives. It hit us. We connected with it. There was something special about it. It's not just like, I don't know, like it often feels like they're just squeezing these IPs dry. And it's
not just an individual thing, because many of these franchises and other IPs were global phenomenon.
Right,
you know,
right.
Indiana Jones, global. Star Wars, global. You know, it hit everybody, or most people anyways, to the point where decades later they're like, man, I still love that movie. I could watch that right now.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think they try to recapture that anymore. They don't.
I agree. You also just talking about Star Trek, cheap vintage toy lines that are cheaper than modern toy lines. Playmate Star Trek. You can get all those carded right now for $5 a piece, easy, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty good.
They're toys. Not bad, and that's what kills me. And she had mentioned earlier about toy lines being recreated. Playmates started remaking those figures.
I know.
Same exact figure on a smaller card.
I know.
But I can go. I mean, I see them at shows sometimes, like $3 for $5 from guys who just are tired of them and want to get rid of them. They don't want to lug the cases around anymore. What are you doing?
Yeah, what a miss. What a miss. Because that's the exact same thing I said. I bought the Picard just because I wanted to know. And I did a video like showing the Picard, but like that's literally my takeaway from it. It's like, look, if you like these, the vintage ones are out there and they're cheap and they're plentiful. You could go collect that entire toy line. We don't need these. We just don't.
And in sharp contrast to the modern era, you know that there's 420 of those figures in that line.
God, 420.
And the reason that Playmates walked away from it was because of their 1701 series. And for those who don't know, the 1701 series was a chase line within the series, of which there would only be 1,701 of each of those figures.
I remember that.
The people the collectors were so pissed that Playmates put out apologies for it, and then they just surrendered the license. They didn't make it. They stopped. And I'm like, nowadays, man, they want you to do that.
I know.
They want you to do that. Exclusives like a dirty word now.
I know.
Oh, that's another one. Saturday Morning Fan brought up those Batman Forever and Batman and Robin figures.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. Spin Master just put those. I did the same thing. I bought those and did a video just to go, who are these for? Who was asking for these? You can still buy the old ones of these, no problem.
And there's a lot of them, or like the Star Wars, the carded Power of the Force, and the green and the red carded Star Wars figures.
Yeah, those are all
really inexpensive if anybody wants them.
Early McFarlane stuff is still super affordable.
It used to be very expensive in the 90s. Yeah. And he was one of the first ones in the toy industry deliberately making variants.
That's crazy, because then you just making that artificial demand, making people want to go out and get anxious and everything.
Hey, people were going to retire off those figures, okay? They were fighting in Bradley's.
Dude, that's why you find carded ones still piled up at toy shows all the time. Yeah. Those early McFarlane toys, they're like, they're everywhere. Yeah, there you go. Episode 1 figures. Dude, I remember I went to the midnight release at Toys R Us for those, and it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. It's one of the very first midnight releases I ever did, but it's crazy to think about how like we went so nuts, especially for Darth Maul. And, and now, yes, those are 5. You can easily get those things still carded easily.
And I think he said 5 words in the whole film.
Yeah, we all needed it. We all needed it.
Same as Boba Fett. Boba Fett was the same thing, though. He barely spoke.
Right.
Barely saw the guy, and everybody's like, "Yeah, Boba Fett, man."
I know you can't go to a show and somebody's not dressed as Boba Fett.
Yeah, I know, or
That's
some variation of it. That's incredible. I want to reiterate again. One of the main things I wanted to bring up tonight was, of course, Dan's new book, which is a volume 1 of basically of the Ninja Turtles, the picture book, basically book bundle you see there. Volume 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the toys of, same as what he did with the Masters of the Universe, and of course he's improved upon it, or the team has improved upon it, and
doing our best for sure.
Hey, that's all anyone can ask of you.
Yeah.
The things are easier to see. It's a 2-page spread now.
Yeah.
This is going to be like 600 pages.
Yeah.
And it's only going from 88 to 93 because Playmates cranked it. Playmates was on top of their game in the especially in the 90s.
Yeah, man. I knew that this was bigger than MOTU going into it, but like the realization didn't really set in until we were like tracking all this stuff down and photographing.
Oh yeah.
There is so much, and so many vehicles. Oh my gosh, they went nuts with vehicles for Ninja Turtles. There's so many of them. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. So even though that's only half the toy line, it's a lot. 600 pages.
Yeah.
It's got thousands of photos in it. So,
and you can find that, or please do, folks, take a look at least. Toys of TMNT.com. And as I was saying earlier, I've mentioned it a couple of times, if it's anything like the Masters book, and it looks like there's some improvements to the format. If it's anything like the Masters book, it's certainly going to be worth it, especially if you're into this kind of thing.
And if you need a checklist, because it's a great checklist.
And if you write in that book, I will find you. And I will discipline you.
David does not want anybody writing in the books. No writing in books.
The king is back in the book. How dare you, sir?
Off with their heads.
Yes.
Yeah, don't write in that book. Buy another one to write in.
I sentence you to be burned at the stake.
Ooh, the snake lair.
I didn't back the snake lair because I don't know.
How's it doing? I was gonna check it real quick.
Sure.
It's 98% funded. It's not there yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's close.
How many more days do they have?
I think it still has like 15 days or something.
Okay.
It's definitely gonna fund. It's gonna fund. So they just got done with the early bird though. Like 11 days. There's 11 days left. So the early bird was you got the Lady Slither figure. Oh, hey guys, you came back.
The camera got weird for a second.
with the early bird part, you got Lady Slither with it, but they just ended the early bird, so now you don't get the Lady Slither figure. So like sales have like stopped. Like people just stopped, and it's like at 98%. I don't know why they didn't just offer that all the way through. Like it's
that's discouraging to a lot of people too when things like that happen.
Exactly. Well, because like
waiting,
it's her snake layer, so now you'd have to buy it without Lady Slither. Like it's, you know, and I know that there was another Lady Slither figure already released, but still, it's like, what? I feel like they should have just thrown it in the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I feel that way about all of these things. You know, all of these crowdfund projects that the HasLab and everybody else does, Mattel, whoever, and it's like you make these tiers, and then it doesn't look like it's going to hit the goal, and then it kiboshes their whole project, or you end up with like the Sky Striker didn't get the last 2 figures, and you know, things like that happen, and it's like, man, just throw it all out there and let people decide. My opinion, but
you know. I agree with that too. I don't know, like I know that I think part of it is that crowdfunding has become like a marketing buzzword, right? Like the people at the top making the decisions are going, this is how we get free advertising. We do a crowdfund and let everybody advertise this for us. And like from a business perspective, okay, I get it. But from like our perspective as buyers, it's like, it's so, I don't know, it's kind of icky. It's like, I just want to buy the thing. It's like, I just want the stuff. So it's tough, man. Modern toy industry, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, again, just reminding people, toys of TMNT.com. Please do go at least take a look. Think about it. Think about it. I think it's well worth it.
Even just to look at the pictures, even if you don't collect, just looking through the book,
because that can be very interesting. If you're a toy collector or into nostalgia or anything like that, that can be a lot of fun sometimes. Just to flip through and to look, because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there you probably have never seen. That happens all the time. You know, as much as I get around and people are like, you must know everything. Oh, trust me, you can't. There's so much going on that you can probably never catch up.
I'm always learning new stuff. Always. Even about the things that are my favorite things. There's always something new to learn and discover about it. But that's what keeps it fun, right? And like what you were saying, people brought the He-Man book up to me all the time and said things like, I don't collect He-Man, but I bought this book because this was my way of like having a representation of He-Man in my collection or learning about these toys. And I think that is so cool. And I'm the same way. Like I said, like I've got Transformers books and stuff down here, and I don't really collect Transformers, but having the books is so interesting to me because I love toy history and the industry, and I just love looking at this stuff. So that's what I'm going for with my books.
Volumes of Japanese sofubi and tin toys that I know I'll never get, because some of them in the American market would be like 20,000 and up. It's insane, some of those prices, the 60s and 70s stuff. But it's nice to see it and look at what they did, some of the crazy stuff they used to make.
Right. Yeah. It's always cool looking at that stuff and learning about new things. I love it.
I know you probably got to get going.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
If there's anything that you want to throw out there.
YouTube trailer. Thank you, Dynamite Tiger. I appreciate that. No, I guess really I just thank you guys very much for having me on to have this chat. This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys like allowing me to use your platform to kind of like spread the word on the pre-orders. We're planning to close the pre-orders, like I said, August 17th currently, and that really closes off like the special edition and the variant guides. So like if you're at all interested in that stuff, please go check it out, take a look at it. I know we were just talking about all those crowd funds. I know there's a lot of companies asking for your money right now, so I hate piling on top of that, but I promise I'm going to deliver something pretty cool with this book. So I hope you guys will at least take a look at it, maybe share it with some friends who you think might be into it.
Certainly. All right, Dan. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening.
Of course, of course.
And thanks to Pastor Rick for making a donation to the cat shelter. Always appreciated all the help we can get with that, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy, especially if they're feral and half of them hate you. But
that's just cats anyway, right? I have 2 cats. I love my cats, but I feel like they hate me half the time. I'm just like, they love me when they want to be fed.
Yeah. We got 5 inside and 8 outside in the outdoor shelter, but that we're taking care of currently. But and some of them are quite sweet, and some of them, they just want a meal. So, it depends. But yeah, thanks again, Dan, for joining us. Always a pleasure. Look forward to the opportunity to do something with you again. And I'm sure we'll run into each other at another show.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I gotta come see the new toy room too. So we got
absolutely. Please do. For those of you who aren't aware, Dan had been here before and done a tour of our toy room, but that was in the old house. And now we moved. So
it's more for him to see.
Yeah.
That's right. I gotta see the upgrade.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us here this evening. We hope you had a good time. Hope you got something out of the conversation. Again, please go to the toysoftmnt.com and check out his book. And we will do this again sometime soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.